Hi guys, today we're taking a look at a Confederate Army cipher disk. This was a craftsman's replica of the cipher disks. On the front, the CSA stands for the Confederate States of America. The SS is for Secret Service, some say the Signal Service. On the back side, in the fine print, it says 1861 to 1865, designed by F. LaBarge of Richmond, Virginia. And again, it's made by Creative Craft House. I'll leave links to where you can find Creative Craft House to purchase it directly from them. It's also sold on Amazon, and I'll leave lots of links about the Confederate Army cipher disk as well as cipher disks in general. The original cipher disks were invented in 1470 by an Italian architect and author, Leon Aliberti. The Confederate cipher disk was created by Francis LaBarge. Now, he was a gold and silver worker, and it's based on Vigenère Cipher. And here's a picture of a Vigenère cipher in plain text. Basically, the round circle is able to replicate the same thing. LaBarge was interesting because he wasn't a cipher expert of any kind. He was actually what I would call a machinist today. He was a gold and silver worker at the time and made these out of brass. His official military occupation was a plater, and some called that a tinner in those days. By some accounts, claim that the Union Army was able to easily break the code, but they broke it by finding out the keywords. With the help of the Pinkerton detectives, they found out that the Confederate Army used a few keywords like Manchester Bluff, complete victory, and come retribution. The code itself gained a reputation for being exceptionally strong. The noted author and mathematician Charles Dodgson, who is Lewis Carroll, called the Vigenère Cipher unbreakable in 1917. The Scientific American described the Vigenère Cipher as impossible of translation. The renowned computer scientist Charles Babbage is known to have broken a variant of the cipher as early as 1854, but he never published his work. So to encrypt something, you set the letter A in the inner disk to the first letter of the keyword. So for example, to send a secret message, we would first set the outer rim to the first letter of our keyword. If the keyword was today, we would set it to a T, and then we would send the first letter from the inner circle that goes to the outer circle, and then we would rotate it to the next letter of the keyword for today, which would be the O, and then the next letter of our secret message would be translated from one of these letters to one of these letters, and then we would go to the D for today, and so on. And if you had a short keyword, you would simply repeat the keyword over and over. To decipher it, you do the same thing but in reverse. So if the keyword again was today, you'd set it to the T. But instead of going from the inner disk to the outer disk, you'd go from the outer disk to the inner disk. So if the incoming message started with a B, it'd really start with an I, and so on. So here is the secret message that arrived today. And this secret message is going to predict what the next K's Camera YouTube video, which camera it will be about. So let's see if we can figure this out. So we're using the keyword Richmond, which we'll repeat over and over. And here's our secret message. So we'll set this to an R for Richmond. And we see the first letter is a G. So that becomes a P, because we're going backwards. Then we have to rotate this to an I for Richmond. And the W becomes O. And we rotate it to an N. Sorry, rotate it to a C. I can't spell Richmond. And the N becomes an L. Then we go to the H for Richmond. And the H in the encrypted message becomes an A. The M in Richmond and the incoming D becomes an R. Now we go to the O for Richmond, and the incoming C becomes an O. The N in Richmond and the incoming V becomes an I. And finally, the D, the last letter of the word Richmond. The incoming G becomes a D. Oh, look, we have Polaroid. Now we have to start over for a new and repeat the letter Richmond. So the letter R, then the incoming C becomes an L. Richmond next is an I. And the incoming F, where are you, F, becomes an X. And we go to the letter C in Richmond. And the incoming Z becomes an X. And finally, the H in Richmond, that'll be the last letter of our secret message. The incoming E becomes another X. So the LXXX is Roman numeral 80. So hopefully you'll tune in soon and we'll have a video about a Polaroid 80. Now, just to put this in slightly better context, here's the Vigenère code in a table. You wouldn't need a rotating disk. So if we use the keyword Richmond and the incoming letter was a P for Polaroid, and you wanted to send it out decoded, that would be a G. And then again for Richmond, the I, and then the O for Polaroid would become a W. And that's just exactly what they did. So that's the Confederate Army Cipher Disk. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video.